Hello and welcome, this is Noah with Nomad Gaming, and we are here with another video for the Marvel Champions LCG, which is a living card game produced and distributed by Fantasy Flight Games. If you are looking for a place to see more Marvel Champions strategy, deck building, and of course gameplay, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to keep up to date with our channel. Today we have the latest North American release, the Black Widow Hero Expansion Pack, and we are going to walk through the process of modifying the base deck or the pre-constructed Justice deck that comes with this pack. Let's take a look at which cards make the cut and what falls short in this deck review. With all decks in Marvel Champions LCG, it's important to understand the stats and abilities of our hero. A large portion of the deck is dedicated to supporting the flavor and theme of our hero, so let's take a look at Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. We're going to have a base health of 9 and a hand size of 6 or 5 depending on mode. In both forms we have synergies with preparation cards. In Alter Ego we get to draw a card with the first preparation we play each phase, and in Hero we deal 1 damage to an enemy every time we trigger a preparation. These abilities give us a huge push for including a critical mass of preparation cards. However, we will want to be careful about what we are including to make sure that we're putting good preparation cards in and not just throwing them all in. Some of them aren't that good. As always, the hero is going to come with a 15-card signature pool that develops their unique theme. Black Widow's 15-card pool has an array of useful gadgets, preparations, and sneaky good events. Of our synergies that we do have here to think about in deck building, we've got a synth suit that's going to let us ready when preparations get triggered. We have the gauntlets that are going to generate resources for us to play preparations, and we also get to pull cards, or preparation cards rather, back from our discard pile with the safe house. The signature pool does contain 6 preparation cards, so that's already more than 10% of our deck if we play with a base 40 cards. Speaking of aspect cards though, let's jump right into it and take a look at what comes with the Precon Justice build for Black Widow. We do get 2 new and exciting allies. Agent Coulson tutors for a preparation. This is a very powerful mechanic, particularly in this kind of a build. And Quake doles out damage to minions who scheme. I have personally been rating Quake fairly high right now. Initial play suggests that she is extremely good for only 2 costs, and she can really dole out the damage, especially with a hero like this who's going to spend some time back in Alter Ego form. We also get a staple basic ally, Nick Fury. His utility is unmatched, and the spy keyword is thematic here. He's highly playable in this deck, and we're really going to get a lot of resource value out of being able to draw those extra cards and work our way through the deck quickly. All 3 of these are going to stay in this deck. I'm not going to cut any of this. There is consideration for adding something like Jessica Jones or Daredevil if we want to go up another ally. I don't feel like that's the right choice at the moment, but let's put it in and then we can maybe try 100 or so games with the deck and then see what we think. Looking at our support cards, we do have Interrogation Room. This is a solid card, but depending on your scenario, it's tough to activate for loads of value. Sure, it only needs a couple of activations to generate a positive return on the 1 cost, but we're going to be dealing with threat in a lot of other ways in this deck, and so these 2 are going to be out of the deck. In replacement, we're going to bring in a single copy of Helicarrier. The reduced cost paired with the gauntlets is going to let us churn through our preparation cards mostly for free, and that's just value that you can't pass up. Only a 1 of here, but definitely a power upgrade from the Interrogation Room. We'll have an extra slot to work with, which we'll deal with later. We're going to keep the surveillance teams. There's unconditional threat management. I like that a lot better. And then the Quint Carrier is one of the best supports in the game now, so we're going to be keeping that and probably also slotting it into any other deck we have with an Avengers hero. When we start looking at upgrades, things are probably going to get a little bit controversial. I like counterintelligence a lot, and I think it's going to end up in a lot of decks. In multiplayer, this is going to get played to as many players as possible, and I'm looking forward to using this to keep us alive and kicking. It's even got value in solo play, even though you can only have 1 per player, so we are going to keep the full 3 play set here. Our other new preparation is, well, the opposite in terms of playability. Spycraft has an ability that I and many others find fairly terrible. Canceling a treachery to get an unknown treachery is Marvel LCG's version of Vegas, and the house always wins. I personally think that dealing with the devil you know is much better than the one you don't, and I'm cutting all 3 of these. There's no room here for junk, even if it is a preparation card. We're also going to dump the target acquireds. Yes, there are bad boost abilities in this game, and yes, you will want to play this in certain scenarios, but for a general build, this has to be out. Most of the cards in the encounter deck don't have boost abilities, which are different from boost icons, so this is often just a dead card. Goodbye. In replacement, we're going to bring in 2 copies of Under Surveillance. I like this card a lot, and I think the value is exceptional, especially in heroic mode where you're going to see a lot of extra scheming. We're also going to bring in the new basic preparation Espionage. I don't really know why FFG put this one, or didn't put this one into the main precon build instead of target acquired, but even being situational, it is better than target acquired by a mile. Surge sucks, and so getting an extra 2 cards and possibly activating the Synth Suit or Black Widow to deal a little bit of damage is going to help us just stay prepared. See what I did there? Yeah. To deal with an extra encounter card, it's just, you need the resources to do so. So I like this card. It's going to send you into your next turn with a bigger hand, give you options to deal with what's happened because of the surge, and it's only 1 cost. So honestly, it's a strict upgrade over target acquired, and I'm happy to be playing it. There's only 1 event in the precon, and I like it. Maybe a lot more than I should. It's a 3 cost for 4 damage. It isn't exciting in other aspects, but a Justice deck often struggles to dole out the pain. So this card's great in terms of that. It also has an upside where we can remove threat when it kills a minion, and so I'm pretty sold here. It does what we want to do as our main plan, which is to get some threat out of the way, but it helps us advance towards a victory condition by being able to deal 4 damage to an enemy. Not limited to minions, this card can really pack a punch. In addition to keeping all 3 copies here, we are going to add 2 copies of 4 Justice for good measure. This guy is an all-star of this aspect, and there are a good number of mineral resources just floating around in the deck, so it's a strict upgrade over some of the cards that we removed from threat management. Sometimes you just need to clear all the threat off of a side scheme, and this is going to be the tool for that job. There's not a lot of strategy here in the resource selection. We need the basic doubles due to the costs of many of our aspect cards are 2 cost, and the Power of Justice gives us a great boost, especially with 2 cost preparations floating all over this aspect. With the modifications, this deck is going to look to play up with the synergies that we have with preparation cards, but don't get lost in the weeds there. We have to be mission focused, manage threat, and deal with damage effectively. We need the tools to thin out our deck with a lot of upgrades and supports on the table, so we should be able to see those couple of events that we just talked about fairly often. But be careful with your health pool of the hero, but don't be afraid to defend. Sure, she's a little bit squishy with 9 hit points, but 2 defense plus 1 if you have the Synth Suit on the table isn't something to shake a stick at, and she's got the ability to ready, so you don't have to worry about being down when you want to activate her later. This is also a build where you don't need to be stuck in hero form from turn 1 through the rest of the game. Activating on both sides of this hero as often as possible really lets this deck shine, so don't be afraid to flip back and forth, take advantage of your recover, take advantage of the extra card draw from your alter ego, and then of course enjoy the damage while you're in hero form. Alright, well that closes out this deck upgrade with Nomad Gaming. Once again, if you've made it this far, you really ought to just subscribe to support the channel, but who am I to tell you what to do? Let us know in the comments how you are building your Black Widow decks, what aspects are you playing with, and what do you see as her major weaknesses. Stay tuned for the full hero review coming, and as always, let's go game!